No, I haven't heard the story.
I'm gonna I'm
What's the
I'm gonna butcher this because I
Okay.
don't I don't fully recall it because I watched it like months and months ago.
Uh-huh.
But it's this guy. He was like a really big football player during this era, and the entire time it was like a whole conspiracy theory about him and his girlfriend because he met this girl online via Facebook or something, and he talked to her for like 3, 4, 5 years, but he never met her. He's never met
Mm-hmm.
her once. And after every football game, he's like, "Woo! Like I'm gonna go talk to my girlfriend via text message," like. And people are like, "Yeah, hell yeah, man! Like I'm glad this guy has a girlfriend." And then one day, he
Uh-huh.
learns that his girlfriend dies. She has
Oh,
cancer, or it's some like she just dies out of nowhere. And
okay.
then he goes to a football game and then he wins it. And then he's like, you know what? Like I won this championship, in honor of my dead girlfriend. And then people were like, oh man, he's such a sweetheart, right? Like he's such a,
Uh-huh.
he's a hero. Like
Right.
I wish I was the girlfriend, although not being dead. So
Yes.
people start doing some digging and they find out that his girlfriend actually never existed.
Oh no.
Yeah,
This is recent?
the series is recent, but I think this story is like from like 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's something ridiculous like that.
the
Maybe not
start
20,
of
like
the
maybe like
internet,
14, 15, yeah.
the dawn of time, the dawn of the illustrious catfish.
I need to look up the name. But
Yeah.
it's kind of nuts because people like did some crazy digging and then they're like, "Yo, like this person actually like you know how like you can go online, take a picture of some random girl and then post it as your profile picture and then
Yeah.
just change your name." Like that's what this person did. And
Right.
apparently what happened is this person catfished him for so long, they felt bad about the whole thing. So they thought the easiest solution was just to say they were dead.
Oh
So
my God.
they eventually found out who the real person was, and it's actually a guy. It was a
Oh
guy all
no.
along too. And this dude's world, he got clowned on. People are like, "Bro, how'd you date somebody for this long and you've never met them?" Like, like people are
That's
just roasting him like time and time again. And he's like super Christian, so he doesn't believe in like even dating another guy. So like the fact that it was a guy at the end of the day and he's been, sharing his intimate thoughts with this person for so long, like messed him up too. It was a horrible story.
but wait, so in terms of football, like he won something in inspiration because of this person?
Yes. His name is Teo. Manti
Teo?
Teo.
Manti Teo.
He became
Well,
in 2012. Sorry, I exaggerated the 20-year thing. In 2012, Manti Teo became the victim of a catfishing ruse when Naya created a fake online persona named Lene, with whom Teo became romantically involved with. That
the,
is, it's such a wild story. It's a huge rabbit hole. If you guys are interested in it, I'd recommend the Netflix series. There's like 2 episodes, but
that's
it's
interesting
heartbreaking.
because it's like
Heartbreaking.
technically like if this guy were in therapy, right,
Yeah.
like the one thing that I'm sure that the person would do is like look at what like they're like hold on to the positive part, which is like you achieved so much. Like if you take away this like falsehood here, you managed to do something that
Yeah,
most
he
people
still
can never do,
won. He's still a
right?
monster, even though he got
Yeah.
catfished. Like, I really feel like his personal relationship has nothing to do with his actual football career, but people did not separate the two.
Yeah, it's tragic though because it's like I mean that's just like a testament to like how like not just relations but like vulnerability, like good people becoming villains, like that dude easy, like you look at a path of like how a person turns into a bad person. That is one of those ways, right? Like you almost have to wonder what the other person's intentions here were, right? Were they siphoning money, right? It doesn't
It
it's
doesn't sound
like
like it. It sounds like they were actually in love.
yeah, because usually catfishing schemes, like there's the like it, I doubt, I don't know if people like ever have conflated the two, but phishing schemes are usually money related, and you add catfishing, and it's like it's kind of the same thing sometimes. I think especially in modern times, it's one and the same, where it's like, hey, like, oh no, like my dad kicked me out, like, can you Venmo me $10,000 for a thing, and then they just ghost you, right? Like it's like
Yeah, it's like a
it's some
little
kind of,
scam.
yeah, that's kind of like we see the other Netflix series, like that guy who scammed like all the women in New York City or whatever because he acted like a billionaire's son, and he's just like, oh my god, these high top of like, you don't know how powerful these people are. I have to go off the grid and run. Can you wire me over $60,000? And like he would target like very successful women who are also vulnerable, also lonely, also like this guy who's NFL whatever, like sports god or whatever. And like these women, you would think like a most normal people's like, yeah, you know, like 10,000 is kind of like where I'd kind of be starting to question things. But some of these women got up to, I think, like 60,000. I'm butchering that story because I haven't like watched that documentary, but it's just crazy. Like, you know, when they say there's a lot of fish in the sea, what they really, there's a lot of catfish too.
There's a
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
catfish. Have you ever been
Yeah.
catfished?
Have I ever been? No, I mean, my wife is my first,
Oh, high
yeah,
school
yeah,
sweetheart.
kind of. I mean, we were
Romantic.
childhood best friends, and it just kind of like one thing led to another. You know what's
Yeah.
funny is most of my, because we were long distance, because like it's kind of like a cultural thing, like you were saying, like in the last episode about Laos New Year's, where like just if you're Laos and you want to celebrate New Year's, you can go to any state at any time of the, well, not any state at any time of year, but you can celebrate New Year's at any time of the year, depending on what state you want to go to or whatever, right? Like, and you probably end up meeting a lot of other Laos people, or Laotian people,
Just Laos.
Laos people. Okay.
Yeah.
And similarly, like, you know, I think a lot of Asian immigrant communities kind of like gravitate towards each other, right? It's like a similar, especially if you're immigrant, like, you know, the people you relate to end up being the people that you share the country with, right? That kind of just makes sense. And so we're both, you know, we're both Bengali, and and uh not I never really cared for relationships growing up. It was kind of like this weird, it that's a whole long story where if my wife were in this conversation, she would guillotine me in the sense of like how I was younger, and I'm like, I didn't do that on purpose. I wasn't trying to be like a heartbreaker kind of situation. And she's like, yeah, I don't know, and I'm like,
A little Casanova.
I was just you know, like that that's why I don't like to talk about it. But then whenever like it ends up, when we meet people, and sometimes I forget how this comes up, but like when we end up talking to people, it's like somehow it comes out, I'm like, stop, like we this is in the past, we don't need to talk about this. And one thing here and there, but like one of the funnier examples is not funnier examples of this particularly, but it's kind of like a catfish kind of thing, where in high school, when me and my now wife started dating originally, we were long distance. And so like at the time, to give you some like a little bit of background, I like there like every period there was like a particular, like there was a girl in each like class that just I always talked to, or something, we sat together or something like that. And okay, here's a crazy, like
What's up?
I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making this shit. I know it sounds like I'm glazing myself with this, but like this is an example of how I
Wherever
was, right?
Para goes, there's a river of vaginal fluid flowing from the rivers.
Like I played soccer,
Yeah.
and I was friends with a lot of, you know, everybody, varsity, JV, freshman, didn't matter. Like, and then I played soccer outside of school, the other things, and so like I was like well connected, right, with a lot of people. I didn't have beef with like the gangster kids. I didn't have beef with like the sports kids. I have beef with anybody, right? Nobody. If anybody said like, oh, like Par, you know, you like, what drama with Par? What do you mean? You just he's just a kid who doesn't do his homework and just sits there and like just does it 5 minutes before class. Like that's literally, and then goes play soccer or whatever, robotics team. Like I'm just a goofy dude, right? And so I had study hall. I didn't have lunches. And my study hall was literally when I did all of my homework, all of it. Didn't matter what class it was. Didn't matter when the class was. All of my home. It didn't matter if the class already happened. Like the teacher would be like, yeah, just get it to me like during your study hall. I'm like, all right, cool, right? Like, and I was the only kid that they would allow to do that, and I'm just, and then people were like, you didn't do your homework yet, and I'm like, they were like, that was due, and I was like, yeah, but I asked, and they're like, that's fine, right? So in that, I think this is like fourth period or something like that. In that study hall, there was a girl whose boyfriend was on the soccer team, and we were chill. We were super chill, and he's super chill, and they were having issues, and this girl and I, we had study hall the entire year and whatever, and um we she attractive girl, sure. I think a lot of people found her attractive as well, and she would always talk to me in study hall, and also I would not do my homework so that people wouldn't ask me like, hey, like, can I see your homework or whatever, or like anything like that. It just helped me too, because I was just like, yeah, I didn't do the homework, and then like, damn, he actually didn't do his homework, and I'm like, yeah, like, look, I didn't do it, and so there's proof. And this is my study hall. This is the most important time of the day for me. Like, this is when I do everything, because all the other times I'm either sleeping, not paying attention. I never went to first period, for example, especially when I got my car. But in this study hall, she had issues with her boyfriend. I wasn't aware of it, and I think they like broke up or something. And in this study, and he always visited, like he would walk by at the beginning or at the end, because his class was like past our study hall. You had to walk through it, and I'm like doing chem, like I'm doing history, I'm just like typing away, like I'm literally laser focused. And for whatever reason, that day, she like, touchy whatever thing, but she was just like, hey, can I sit on your lap? And I'm like, whatever. And so I'm like doing homework, and I'm just typing away, writing away, and she's just like on sitting on my lap, like right here. And like she's like talking to me, whatever, I'm focused, I am like, there's no other thoughts, right? And then the guy walks through, and I look up, and then I recognize like this scenario that I'm in. I'm like, oh shit, that's not great. Like,
It
this
took a
is,
little bit, but you're like, oh no, I finally
yeah,
understand what this looks like.
yeah, but like he didn't have any issues with me because everything was like cleared up, like in the sense of like, I have no ill will. He knows that. Like I'm just doing homework, right? Like that's what everybody knows me for. So there's no problems. But in a normal circumstance, that would have been an issue, a big issue, especially because he was also well connected too. And so that, like, there's more of examples of that, but that was like, there was a different girl every period, to the point where my best friend, I met up with him recently, and I was with like, like, yeah, high school friends, and then,
Yeah.
college friends, and then after college friends. So I was with after college friends who don't know this stuff about me, and I met up with them with this friend, and my best friend was like, yo, you don't know the things, and I'm like, stop saying I don't know this, right? And the other part of this, to tie it all back, was I told everybody that I had a girlfriend, and they're like, who? And I'm like, she doesn't go here. And then they're like, are you joking? Do you see who you're talking to? I'm like, yeah, like none of them are like that. I don't care. I have a girlfriend. And that story in particular, you can see why that might be an issue, considering my wife and all the stuff. And so a time comes around, like prom-ish or whatever, and me and my wife are long distance, but we were gonna go to each other's proms. So I bring my wife, like that's a whole another story that my wife loves to talk about, where like we snuck my wife, like essentially ninjaed her, like we snuck her into my school and stuff. This is back in the cool days of, there was no like, there was security, but the security liked me, so it was fine. A fun fact, I went to school near Sandy Hook, and so if you know anything about that, then yeah, like and the thing was, Sandy Hook increased our school's security, but we also just regularly had like bomb threats. Like there was like the one time there was a bomb threat, and the bomb threat was issued because the people were robbing a bank. And I'm like, yo, that's kind of crazy. But when my wife came to my school for the prom thing, and she showed up, and we were walking down the hall, and we were together, and like this was like at the end of the school day. All my friends, I told all my friends like, yo, let's meet up at the front, and to meet her. And then they're like, oh my god, I thought he was lying this entire time about having a girlfriend. And I'm like, no, come on, guys, you guys are my best friends, how come you didn't believe me? And then they're like, yeah, but like, you know how the internet goes, like you could just be making this person up, or they could be, we thought like maybe she was me. And I'm like, come on, like I wasn't you guys thought I was a liar. And then they're like,
I
it's
would
not.
have thought you were lying.
That's what I'm saying.
I
That's
would
what I'm saying.
I would think you're lying, Par. Why
And
would anybody believe that?
okay, like I am a very focused person. School, sports, robotics. I didn't really
Yeah,
care for
but here's the thing.
relationships.
But it doesn't matter. Like why would anybody believe this though?
I'm trying to think if like I gave people a good reason to, but I think that why I ended up divulging this information was because there was rumors like, oh, Par's with her or this or
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and my rebuttal was like, no, I have a girlfriend. And the thing is, I told the girls this, right? Like they knew, and they didn't question it. Which, you know, in hindsight is kind of interesting, but like you know, for a few things. But that all I'm saying is there is a lot of fish in the sea, and there are a lot of catfish. So I didn't experience catfish particularly. I got a Nigerian prince thing, but then I reported that, like I got that guy.
You called
I
the
got that guy.
authorities.
Yeah. I got that guy's bank info. Like I fished it out of him, like some like identification stuff. And then
Yeah.
I called the police and the FBI on him, and the bank, and then I think the bank called me back and said like, yeah, we got things figured out now. Thank you so much for your report. And I'm like, cool.
I like to imagine he's an actual Nigerian prince. He really needed help.
I heard
Like
a
he's
story.
crying, like he's in the jail cell. Like, guys, I almost took back my country, please.
I
Somebody.
heard I heard a really touching story about this. Oh my god, this is like, it's crazy that this story is real. I just realized how long I've been talking for, but Nigerian princes. Oh, by the way, we started recording a long time
Oh
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Welcome guys to the
Welcome
50/50
guys to the
podcast.
50/50.
We entered in it was funny because you had the perfect intro, and I was like, no, tell me more about it, and then you kept on going, and then you got to the title of it, because the title kind of spoiled most of the story, but they didn't have the title, so it's pretty good on my part, I think. Not to toot my own horn any more than I already am, but the Nigerian prince story. Okay, this one, I think I could tell it really quickly. So basically, you know the whole gist. You get an email like, oh, like I'm a Nigerian prince, blah blah. Like my country needs savings, or like I blah blah blah. Some kind of, I need to save my family. Some kind of sob story, whatever it is. Can you
A
send me
believable
money?
story.
Yes. And so this guy had enough time in the day to entertain this to the point where it was kind of like a reverse, like he was trying to reverse fish him, like, oh my god, this guy's scamming people, I'm gonna scam him back, right? And what ended up happening was, they this guy went back and forth, and the Nigerian prince ended up coming up with like such an in-depth story. Like he kept on just building up the story. The guy thought he was lying this entire time, which like he kind of was lying. But what he said was the white guy, I think in California, ended up reverse Nigerian princing him, and you said that I own a publishing company, and I want to run a story on you and your life. Can you send pictures of your experience and whatever, and I will publish that, and I will send you money in for that thing. And so uh the guy goes, I wish I could, but I don't have access to a camera. So then the guy sends him a camera. He buys a camera. He starts investing in this, right? Like, and at this point, he's invested like weeks and months. I think a month at this time, of his time. And he's like, you know what? I might as well just drop $500 on a camera, or like 200 on a camera, cameras were expensive at the time. Cameras, back in the day were kind of expensive. And he dropped that money, and then he also shipped it. He asked for an address. He shipped it, and he thought like, I just lost this camera. And then he gives him an address to send pictures back, and he gets the pictures, and he's like, wait. And he looks at the pictures. They're like super like authentic. Like they're just like in a village in Africa, and like there's his mom, there's like this is village kids, and like there's a
He
car.
was telling the truth.
And so the white guy is just like, oh my god, wait a second, like now I feel bad that I fished him and I said I own a publishing company, where I'm gonna send him money. So then what he did was he looked at the pictures. He's like, okay, let me coach you a little bit on how to take proper pictures. And so he sent instructions, and his the photography started improving. And then the guy was like, you know what, I have to double down, I have to publish a book. So he made a book with all the pictures in it, and he started like a Facebook group or like a GoFundMe, whatever it was, a crowdfunding thing, and it went viral apparently, and he made a bunch of money, and he sent it over to that guy. And it started off at like $50, but $50 goes a long way over there. And it was just like this crazy situation, because he was just like, wait, like this guy is real. And then the guy, after they created this relationship where they like legitimately published a book, the white guy goes over and meets him, and he interviews him, and he's just like, hey, listen, I didn't believe you at first. Why are you doing what you're doing? And how did you get, the other part was, the way the guy contacted him wasn't email. It was like a text message. It was on his phone. Like, so he got like the thing. And so the guy in Nigeria, I don't remember what country, but Nigerian prince, will just say Nigeria. Sorry to be a little bit insensitive to races and nationalities right here. Normally I would pay attention to that, but this is like,
man, I had a Nigerian roommate in college. He used to tell me about all the scams he ran. So, I mean,
no, but this one is crazy, because I also know a few of like legitimate scam ones, and like the whole circle of that. But this one really like, kind of broke my heart a little bit. Okay, so what happened was, you know how like we dump our garbage in other places, especially in Africa. So like clothing, for example. If you guys don't know this, clothing recycling is the biggest scam in the world, because we just dump that recycled clothing over there, unless it's like a proper pipeline. But majority of it, and the big one is sports clothing. For example, Super Bowl merch, or where the teams have to create their merch ahead of time, not knowing who's going to win. So the losing team makes all this merch, and then what do? No one's going to buy the loser team's merch, right? And so they end up like, all these jerseys end up over there, and so you just have these like waste fields of these things. And similarly, this guy got essentially a thrown out cell phone that contained that guy's number in California, and a bunch of other people. And it was like an old phone that was still intact, and I guess donated, and it somehow made it to him. And the guy was like, okay, so you contacted me, but why were you trying to like scam me out of money? Why were you lying? And then the guy said, I was just lonely. I was trying to have a conversation with somebody. There wasn't like, I messaged everybody, and nobody really got back to me. And then we started talking, and one thing led to another, and then they met, and now they're friends. I don't know what it is now, but I think this story was also like a 2014-ish, 2016-ish era type of thing. And I'm just saying that, like, damn. This is like another one of those vulnerability situations where it's like the scams came out of someone just being lonely. That football player you opened up the podcast with, he was just lonely. And
he saw a hot piece of meat, Par.
Okay, that's fair. But
I don't think because he wasn't necessarily lonely though.
But the thing is, it was a virtual thing, right? Like they didn't have the hot piece of meat. He never got to like.
No. He saw the pictures though.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, like seeing the pictures. That's not like, I could see a great looking burger online, but that's not a like, that's not me scarfing down like 10 Shake Shack burgers. You know what I mean? It's like a different thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like that guy went the lengths, and yeah, I'm sure he had. Fair. the thoughts, but like he kept it and he preserved it as long as he did, and he didn't. I apparently didn't push hard enough to go to the physical level, but at the end of the day, he opened himself up because he was probably lonely, right? Like that's kind of, I don't know.
I mean, if you
I
want to
think
frame
it's
it that way,
thematic.
then everybody's lonely if they want to get into a relationship, though.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
mean,
but
yeah.
the problem is nowadays, right? Is is the digital world allows us to weaponize loneliness, right? That's kind of how it is. Um,
Another type of loneliness is a fist.
okay. Wait, that's crazy because I was thinking of a great segue, and it kind of relates to that. But I want to know why you said loneliness is like a fist.
Because I just remembered Zhao Zedong. Do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, Par, let me introduce you to a brilliant world.
Uh huh.
The world of Kung Fu masters.
Oh!
You already know where I'm going.
The
You already know where I'm
bullshito,
going.
the bullshito,
What, the what?
but like the fake kung fu
Oh, fake.
masters.
Yeah, fake Kung Fu masters. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
they
yes,
call it
yes.
bullshito, right? Like bushido, bullshito, right?
I
Like they're
could see that. I could
bullshit.
see that. Have you?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know where I'm going then? Do you know who I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
No, I don't know where you're talking about, but I was sending those TikToks to, so I don't think I sent them to you because I don't want to like want you to think that that's what I thought was like real martial arts, but I was sending it to other people that I talked to like about boxing and whatever.
It's
And it was
because I'm
just
Asian.
funny. Is no, it wasn't because of that, but it's just funny because it's like these guys are just like, oh, 1,000 years of martial arts, and then they just get into the ring with a boxer, and the boxer just slaps the shit out of them, and it's like, cool. I like it. I love watching
It's
those.
so good. So Zhao Zedong, like essentially, which apologies if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but his nickname is the Mad Dog, so we can call him that too.
I feel like I know that. I feel like a lot of people are named the Mad Dog.
The Mad Dog, bro. So what he used to do was he was a amateur MMA fighter. He wasn't that
Uh-huh.
good. He was like near the lower realm of MMA fighters there in China.
What's his weight class?
He's pretty big. He's a hefty boy.
I was gonna say, can
He's
you
a
beat
big
him?
guy. No, we together we probably could not beat him. We could
Damn
have
it.
knives. We might not beat him, Par.
Damn,
But
that's it. I'm glad you say that because it's so funny to me when someone looks at it like an MMA fighter and they go, I could take him. I'm like, no, no, no.
no,
Like even
we
if
would
he's
not
bad,
win.
even if they are bad in the MMA, even if they're in your weight class, they're probably rock your shit. Like that's, it's just like, yeah, maybe you have a chance, but it's not a big
Like
chance.
2v1, if we both had knives, I like to think we would sacrifice one. Like one of us would go down for the other person to get the win. Like that's how
Yeah.
that scenario would go.
Yeah.
But essentially, he hates the world of fake kung fu.
Wait, can I say what our biggest weapon is?
What is it?
We both played soccer, and soccer kicks are illegal in most
Oh,
mixed
yeah.
martial arts and everything. So technically, even these trained fighters are not trained against our soccer kicks. They don't know how to defend against it
I
because
mean,
it's not allowed.
The
in
minute they hit the ground, we could just football kick their head and it's GG.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
done.
You just gotta keep
Yeah.
that distance. But if they give
If we're
these guys,
playing
like,
dirty, we could hit so many random spots to just kill him. But
yeah, exactly.
traditional fighting, we probably would have win. Like if
Oh,
me and
yeah,
you were in a
100%.
boxing ring, gloves, we can't use our
Oh.
feet, no weapons, we would lose.
No.
He would
Yeah,
pink
yeah,
our
yeah.
hits like Luffy and Kaido. It would be
That's
GG.
why I'm a fast runner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I always keep a knife in my sock.
That's a great place to keep it, I guess.
No, it is. It is. It's really nice. I used to actually have a strap where back when I used to work valet service and coffee shops, underneath my vest, I had a knife that was attached right here.
Like an anime character, like
Yes.
the like a
I never had
bro
to use
thought
it.
you were Levi
Oh.
from
1,000,000%. I never used that once in my life. I spent maybe $50 on that and the strap, and I was like, yes. I feel
cool.
super protected. If
I'm not
anybody
gonna
were to
lie.
attack me right now, it'd be great.
I'm not gonna lie, I would do the same. Like I like the gun holsters that are there.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of sick.
It's super dope. Yeah, see, even if you don't use it, it's a staple of manhood.
Do you still have it?
I don't have the strap. I have the knife, I don't have the strap.
Ah, okay. I mean, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's because it's like when the hell am I gonna use this? Now it's just like in the sock, which is a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot easier.
But
But as you're saying,
yeah, dude, the Mad Dog. So he hates fake martial artists and fake kung fu masters who have like 1 million students and they all pay him like buku bucks like the Pope.
yeah,
He
yeah,
hates
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So what he does
Good.
is he publicly challenges every kung fu
I
master
know
in
this
China.
guy.
He challenges them to a fight. And then if they accept it, he destroys them. Like,
I
he knocks
love
them
it.
out in like 10, 20 seconds. The Kung Fu Master's over here winding up, like doing all of his chi attacks. And then, and then this guy just walks up. He tanks their hits, and then he just like punches them, and then they KO. Like, and here's the thing. I'm gonna flub this guy's age. I think he's like mid 30s, maybe early 40s.
Yeah.
But the
No,
Kung Fu Masters
I
are
know.
all in their like 70s and 80s, and they're like, oh, like I trained at this dojo forever. And then it's essentially watching a middle-aged man beat up old people. And some people could look at this and be like, oh, like how dare this guy hurt this old man? It's like, no, like hear me out. This old guy deserved it. Not only was he talking shit online, but he's over here scamming little kids out of their money, teaching them kung fu, because his main thing is that these kung fu masters always say that their kung fu and martial arts will save them from bullying. It'll teach them valuable life skills, and it's
Yeah.
going to be so good for them in the long run. When in reality, these kids are going to grow up and be like, oh, I know kung fu, I can beat some ass. And then all of a sudden, these guys get stomped in a street fight.
Yeah. My
hates that.
favorite. I
It's
I
so
know.
good. It's my hero.
I had the image of the guy because I've seen his videos. This guy is doing God's work right now.
He is
but,
doing,
like,
but he's banned from China. Did you know that?
yeah, because some of the martial arts are like national, like treasure
National
stuff,
treasures.
Right? Yeah.
He's
right?
banned
I
from
just
China.
assumed that, but
And during his fights, have you seen what they made him do?
no.
So if
Well,
you
I
look
might
up,
like refresh me.
yo, I was about to
Maybe.
say, like, if you look up pictures of him,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you see him fighting, he's usually wearing some sort of face paint, right?
Okay.
Like half of his pictures are him wearing face paint, and the reason why is because in China, the face paint he's wearing is that of a clown, because the only way the Chinese government will let him publicly fight is if he wears clown makeup to demean himself, because they're trying to throw mud at this guy. They messed up his credit score. They try to make a fool out of him at every chance. They like attack his family. Like this dude is going through the ringer, and I feel so bad for him. I think he's doing good now. I think there's like a huge GoFundMe. The guy's living in a different country. But yeah, no, this guy, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
I'm trying. Apparently, his YouTube channel is called Brother Dong Takes Hot Takes or something like that.
Maybe. I
Brother
haven't seen his
Dong's
YouTube
Hot
channel.
Takes.
The craziest one is that he beat this guy in he beat this kung fu master in a backyard trampoline arena, from the looks of it. And the Chinese master, like the kung fu master, his excuse for losing was that the way he was positioned, the sun shined in his eyes, and he couldn't see his opponent. And also, I think he said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, that day I didn't have enough rice to eat, whereas my opponent, Zhu Zaidong, or the Mad Dog, he had all the food he could ever want." Like, they start making up the silliest excuses for losing.
And I love the way you transition, because you're not wrong, right? Like the reason why these people get up there is from loneliness, right? Like the people that sign up under them, they ostracized by bullying, and for some reason, it being physically active, being physically capable would get you out of a lot of situations, right? Whether it's being able to stand up for yourself or being able to assert yourself, like various iterations of just being physically capable can get you out of that. That's not justifying bullying, but these guys are being like marketed honestly because bullying exists, right? Like these guys, their platforms exist because there's these people who are lonely, and they need some kind of like safety net to latch onto, and then it becomes like a One Piece trope where, or even like if you watch Mob Psycho, like where like this guy gets their ego inflated because like I helped 5 guys, 10 guys, 20 guys, and that guy told other guys, and whether it's like they said good things about me or I started believing my own drug, right? Like selling my own, like you don't take the drugs you sell, right? Like that kind of a thing, where these guys end up believing Like some of these dudes have actual martial art like backgrounds, and so that they should know that they are not like real, right? But they end up believing that they are capable because maybe in one fight, two fights, three fights, anecdotally it worked for them, but that doesn't work on the macro level, right? And I think like what's funny is the excuses that they make, like you were saying, because there's two realms of these fake martial artists. There's the ones that are the national treasure ones, the ones that are like rooted in history, that are kind of like there was a reason why it existed. Like there was this particular kind of like value towards fighting this way, whether it's the weaponry that was available, whether it was the kind of environment that they were in. Like capoeira is a really interesting one in that light, right? Like they had to hide their fighting so in dance moves, so then you get like crazy like break dancing martial arts, but that's a martial arts that actually has like a function, but it's also a martial arts that you don't necessarily see in the realm of like grappling, in the realm of like, yeah, people can bring up capoeira, but you won't really see it like that because it's not as functional as some of these like more progressed martial arts. And so like there's some stuff like that, and then like these guys are like, oh, like my kung fu, like Steven Seagal like type of dude who's just like like I am my kung, like I think he says he's a kung fu master in aikido thing, and that's the other side of it. Aikido is a great martial arts at the core of what it is, but people have, because aikido is a diffusing martial arts. It's a martial arts where you are the non-aggressor in a way, right? Where it's like you are supposed to use the other person's weight, their off balance, their lack of martial art knowledge, where they put themselves off balance and you abuse that and use their weight against them. And in aikido, largely it's the aggressor instigates and you capitalize off of their aggression, which, in martial arts, usually the aggressor is the one who's taking a risk in fighting, especially at the higher levels, which is why like really good fighters end up playing defensively a lot of times. But the aikido one's really funny because I want to start sending you all these. There are so many ones now, even in America, like where it's like, like we're getting the gun fights, right? Like so many guns are out there, but then it's like, oh, knives, right? So in the UK, there's like all these like the self-defense ones where it's like, this is how you defuse a knife coming at you. And it's literally like this one dude who's the sensei, and he has like the fake belt and everything, and then like 50 dudes or 50 students, right? And they have like a fake knife, and they're charging at him, and then he's just like slaps them and redirects them, and it's supposed to feel like aikido, but it's not, because the person charging literally just continues walking in a straight line. And then you get these crazy videos where it's just literally like these dudes just walking straight, and then he just redirects them with their hand, and they keep walking straight, and they're like ha ha ha, and then 50 of them, and then you just see a room where he's just dodging, and he's like, oh, look at this. Like, imagine when two people come at you, and then you use both your hands and you redirect them together and push them in that direction, and you spin, and it's like on paper it sounds like it's aikido, but it's not. And visually it's the funniest thing, because for me, the reason why that's like, I need this guy, Mad Dog, to do God's work, because like that's harmful. Like this guy is teaching people how to like, hey, if some guy's running at you with a knife, instead of running away or getting yourself to safety, stand your ground and redirect him. I was like, these people, all of your students are dying at this point. And then it gets translated to guns. And I'm like, you don't, I'm pretty sure every martial artist, even the ones that are like world champion, they won't be like, hey, if there's someone with a gun in front of you, you don't use martial arts there. Because why? Guns are not martial arts. They're absolutely not. You don't fight that with martial arts. You give them your wallet, you run away, all that jazz. But this guy is like, no, see, the thing is, a gun has a hole. And if that hole isn't facing you, you're safe. And so like you'll get this like crazy scenario where the guy's just like, he's like, so what you do is you fake falling, and then you flip over and you kick the thing, and he's teaching it to people, and they're demonstrating. I gotta show you this TikTok, bro. It's crazy because
I've seen those fights. I've seen it in Baki the anime too. It's too good.
Baki is. I like Baki a lot.
Baki's not that good.
I like Baki.
It was decent.
I like Baki because what they do with martial arts is they take each martial art and take it to the maximum imaginable level that the people think that is possible with the martial arts, right? Like some dude could be an acupuncture martial artist, right? And it's like theoretically, yeah, that could exist and it's cool. And I like that, but these martial artists in real life that are like, hey, someone with a gun, I'm winning with my bare hands. Like, no, stop teaching it. This is not the way.
What if they're onto something? Like years from now, they're going to teach that in every school.
They
Just
already
rush down
are.
The attacker.
They already are. Like it's anytime I see like a karate like building like, and they have like advertisement, I'm like, yo, this is
that would be kind of crazy. Imagine like a kung fu like art school or whatever, and they're like, hey, like enroll your kids here. They'll be safe from school shootings.
No.
Imagine they redirect the bullets. Like the sensei's like, hey guys, when the bullet's flying at you, if you just push it away, it'll hit the wall behind you. That'd be wicked.
Nah, dude, it's literally like that. Like I
need to sign up for these classes.
I saw some like school shooting stuff where it's like the drills where they teach the kid to like the desks, like, oh, like throw down the desk and then pick up your textbook, and then if you gotta hide like this, and they're like teaching them like body awareness in like a shooting situation. I'm like, you understand, like they don't even teach this in like the military, right? Like they like, yes, there's like ways to make it so that you are like you protect your vital organs, right? And like you can minimize damage while in gunfire. There's things like that, sure. But they don't necessarily like prepare you for like just a defenseless war zone type of like environment where you're just like faced with a machine, like not a machine, assault rifle, and you're like in a school. I'm like, hold on, this is kind of crazy that we're teaching kids this. At this point, it's like, why not just make every like school West Point, right? Like, why not just make every school incorporate like ROTC? Just make everyone ROTC at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you like it, to me, like it might sound confusing. Yes, they train the military to survive these situations, right? But I'm looking at these drills that they're and these lessons that I'm teaching. I'm like, this is so silly. Just put them in military training at that point. You have the resources to do that. Just take your ROTC program and expand it to the whole school. Why are you doing this dumb shit right now where it's like you're like, oh, let's teach them to wield textbooks in front of their faces because that's definitely gonna stop an assault rifle thing. Yeah, pistol, I guess, could do it, but like, oh my god, it's just.
But have you ever tried it though, Par?
Have I ever tried it?
Yeah.
Have you ever tested it out? How do I know? Yeah, because a YouTuber did it. You know about that story?
Wait. There's so many stories of that though.
Yeah, it was. I think this was one of the original ones, where it's like this couple. And they like the girlfriend shot
the book.
Her.
Yeah.
He
had like a magnum, and he was like, "Hey, like just shoot this book, and I'll survive. It'll be a great YouTube video."
Yeah, like the most powerful, like literally a hand cannon. And then they were like, "Let's see if a textbook can stop." And it's like, you could have tested the textbook outside of your face, right?
There's like conspiracy theories that maybe he wanted to die.
Yeah, I saw that. I feel like the other part of it was I Mythbusters, they did a thing. Like, you know how like textbooks, like, I'm not saying this is related at all, but like textbooks can be powerful. You saw like when like a truck like is towing another truck, and instead of like an actual cable attached them, they just took two phone books and they overlapped them like each page, and the amount of friction created is enough to hold back like 50-60 mile per hour trucks. And I'm like, going in the opposite direction, I'm like, that's kind of cool, that's kind of sick. I like that. Books are powerful, you know.
Books, knowledge is power, but you don't have to read the book to enact the power. You could just have it on you for whenever somebody shoots you.
Yeah Do you want to know my direction for when you said the like the loneliness and the fist thing?
What's up?
Technically, I think it's been long enough. I've seen plenty of content creators verbally say this name out loud. It's a name that was largely banned on most social
Oh,
medias.
Andrew Tate,
Yes, yes. I'm glad you said it out
the
loud. But
top G. What's up?
have you seen what his so you know I'm not gonna be here and debate you guys on whether or not his presence is good. That's all. In terms of controversy over like flat Earth, the fake moon landing, and we've been on like just offending these groups of people. I feel like this one is one of those ones where like if we could actually offend people because it might be that this is the top G.
I
And
would
the
love
thing
if
is,
everyone in our comment section is actually Andrew Tate supporters. That'd
and
be kind
it
of cool.
like we could sit down and break it down like if you guys haven't seen the very like it's just like a reckless mentality that I personally feel like he knows that is reckless, but he's just abusing the system being loneliness, and that is thematically from before he was internet famous what he did, right, with his like the cam girl situation, right? He literally taught women how to weaponize men's loneliness to take money from them in a sort of catfishing scenario where yeah they saw her, but like when it came to fulfilling any desires it was much like the
Hey,
stories that
that's
we
the
talked
homie.
about. And so there's a thematic. He continues that the casinos, another version of weaponizing loneliness and the vices of humanity. But not here to debate whether it's good guy, bad guy. I think we both were kind of on the same thing about the whole like cancel culture is stupid, but then also kind of like the way all that stuff happened was kind of like, oh, that's kind of wild. That didn't need to happen. Like nature would have ran its course, and we could have handled it a different way. But he's come back. He's been released from jail apparently. Maybe he's going back. There's some
They
whispers,
released my
whatever.
man.
They released him. It's crazy because the one thing I do want to address is it crazy because the irony of him, like he's a U.S. citizen. He's from the U.S. I think he's from I forget where, but he's from like Texas or
Romania. Oh,
no. Well,
oh, I
he's
thought
he's
you meant
from
where you got arrested from.
no. Yeah, but the reason why he moved to Romania was because apparently in the UK there was like warrants, and he was being investigated, and so to dodge like tax stuff and whatever, he goes to
Yeah,
Romania, and he's talking about Romania being the safe haven. Why would I ever be fearful here? Because all you have to do is pay the government, right, and they won't arrest you. And then the powers at hand arrested him, and honestly what happened to especially to his brother is kind of like crazy because if they ended up releasing him, then apparently his brother's story was that they took him to jail and his wife or his daughter was born, and he had not seen his daughter for like the first like 90 days of her life or something like that. And it's like that's kind of absurd, especially if he was just going to be released and they hadn't anything on him. But the other part of it that was kind of crazy was they confiscated all of his cars and like not his like his property he's still in his house and everything, but they took his cars and apparently he's home, and like they didn't return any of his vehicles. I'm like, what? That like how do you do that? And then instead of like his brother like goofed off or something, and then they bought a Nissan Murano, and I was like, that's kind of funny because that's like the no offense if you have it, but that's the ugliest car. No offense, like that's just the gross thing.
that's
I've seen
Romania, baby.
and but the thing that I want to talk about, the loneliness thing, he's continuing it. And did you see he's actually infringing into our realm a little
Oh
bit? Do you
yeah,
know
he
that?
started posting anime girls. I think Andrew Tate's funny. I'm not like an
He's
Andrew Tate fan, but I'm just like whatever he does, I'm just like that's a good meme, you know?
he's trying to tap into the e-girl like fanatic, the VTuber, the pillow waifu, like
Yeah.
that
I mean,
demographic
it's
of.
not. Is it working though? Because I think people are memeing about it more than anything.
But that's the the thing about loneliness. People have memed on catfishing since the before it even existed, and yet still people fall for it. Those people who fell for it, it's not like they didn't know that this was existed, despite them knowing that catfishing is a thing that they their scenario is very similar to all the other catfish. They still sit back and believe like, no, she's real. No, this is real love. No, I'm actually, because that's how powerful weaponizing loneliness is. And you know, the demographic he's targeting now is one that is plentiful, growing, global, also becoming a little bit more popular, interestingly, because of the internet. You know, and as internet makes us more digital and more lonely, you know, more people are gonna gravitate toward that. And then but the thing is that before he went to jail, he was like hating on anime, hating on anybody who watched it. It was immature, blah blah blah.
He met
like,
a bad waifu in jail.
And now out of it, he switched up, and I'm like, this man who's all about like the macho fisto, like you guys gotta learn how to kickbox and box and stuff, and now he's out here dancing with Love Is War, Fujiwara, I believe her name was. I love that thing, and he's like doing the dance on TikTok, and he before he was memeing on all of the TikTok guys that became famous and rich for like dancing, like Bryce Hall, I think would I don't know if he was a dancer. I'm just saying he's in that realm of guys who were doing that on TikTok, where no offense to those people, but that's the kind of guy he was memeing on. And now he's doing it. And I'm just like, you know, the question I asked earlier, it's like the person who scanned that football guy, right? Like, why? You know, usually it's about the money thing. And it's like, we see a situation here where this guy who vocally, publicly, on his platform said like everything that he's currently doing is disgusting, wrong, whatever. But this is how powerful loneliness is. He was lonely in jail. He comes out of it. He needs to weaponize it even more. That's how far turned that he went, that he himself is doing what he talked about against in the past. I'm like, damn, that is like a tables turn. That's an like, oh, that's like poetry at its finest. It's so crazy.
You know what else is poetry, Par?
What?
Loneliness expands to a new depth. Have you heard?
Not the Marianas Trench.
No. Have you heard of the Loveland Frog?
No.
The Loveland Frogman? You've never heard of him?
The Loveland Frogman?
Yeah, you've never heard of this?
I mean, I feel like you said it because I feel like I shouldn't know what it is, and maybe here I'm gonna apparently this podcast episode's sponsored by loneliness.
Yeah.
but a Frogman. Let's
yeah, he's from Ohio folklore. It started in like 1972. I'm reading the page right now.
Okay.
The Loveland Frog legend gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with the descriptions of the Frogman. So it looks like, according to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman / traveling salesman driving along an unnamed road late nights in the 1955s.
Oh, it's always the late night. It's always...
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have cameras like that back then.
The Branch Hill neighborhood was where he was spotted. He spotted three figures that stood erect on their hind legs along each side of the road, each 3 to 4 feet tall. Oh, that's kind of scary. And that's it.
Describe it again. There's creatures 3 to 4 feet tall standing on their hind leg. What else?
Oh, that's it.
That could be any animal. What do you mean?
No, it's the Frogman. Only the Frogman can stand on their hind legs, Par.
Wait, this is Ohio?
Yes.
Oh my god, not the Ohio memes.
No, this predated the Ohio meme. It's 1972
no, that's what I'm saying.
And 1955.
But that's the truth about memes. Memes weren't born. They were like, you know what I mean? Like, memes are closer to the truth than you realize. And like man,
we gotta start
using animal.
We gotta start using thumbnails for our podcasts. And I think for this podcast, I'm just gonna Google Loveland Frogman and put that as the put that as the
Get some
thumbnail.
people in there.
Yeah.
The Because like I'm thinking about it, like Ohio, it's kind of like northeast, like they have foresty areas, and Ohio is next to the waters, so it's like I generally understand it's a normal kind of ecosystem of animals, deers, probably bears, maybe the whole hoo-ha, and I'm thinking like bobcats, like all of these animals, by the way, can get on their hind legs.
But only frogs can pull it off so flawlessly.
Like I'm pretty sure what he probably saw was like a bobcat type of
No,
thing.
no,
Like,
no, no, no. Do you not believe in the Frogman? Okay,
I mean,
now you just okay. That's
if you
slanderous, bro.
said
That's slanderous.
2020, maybe, but 1950, come on, Sai, come on,
All
Sai.
right, all
That
right. But
that's
speaking of
almost a
which, though,
century old story.
yeah, and we gotta respect our ancestors. They're the ones who
No, we
crafted the
don't.
wheel.
Oh my god, I wanted to segue to something related to the Frogman thing, which was like I mean, actually the wheel's cooler, but like I was just gonna say, like, is it do you feel right? Because like the Frogman, coincidence that it's a story where the guy's alone, middle of the night, middle of nowhere, no cameras, right? And it's like a lot of our stories are like that, right? Aliens. It's like, and the thing is, it's like it's always like Marjorie and William the Seventh, like second removed cousin, that kind of thing. They were in their buggy in 2014, by the way. Like, for some reason they're just completely removed from technology. They're just traveling down this road, no lights, and then all of a sudden a light appears above them at 4 a.m., and then they disappear, and then they have like random dots on them, and then they're like, oh, I was abducted and probed. And then like you sit back and you're like, oh, these guys are crazy. But then mass hysteria comes into play. They're down the road, the same Becky and Bob have the same story, and then it's not just old people, it's young people too. And the weird part, right? It's like, you start believing all these guys, right? Because couldn't be 100 people can't be making up the same story or similar stories. And then it's like, wait, it's not just North Dakota, it's not just South Dakota, it's the Carolinas, it's Texas, it's Arizona, it's all over. And then you start moving further out, and it's like, wait a second, it's only the United States that's doing this. It's You sit back and like all of the alien reports, all these abduction reports, they only happen in the United States. And
The
not
United
tie
States
back.
is all that exists, par.
I kind of like. What do you think is the reason why the United States has these stories? The Frogman is another version, right? This guy's
No,
just
no,
not
no, no, no.
imaginative.
There's other countries that have their own like alien abductings, right?
Not as much as we do. We're like, I'm pretty sure, like, this statistically, we're like 97% of like the world's reporting. Like,
Oh damn.
actually, yeah.
How much? I gotta look it up. How much of the
Like,
world has reported alien sightings?
yeah. Like the UFO. Like, I think there's validity to UFOs. I think aliens exist, but the stories that have come out, right? Like I'm on board with the governments are hiding aliens, and we come in contact. Cool. I'm for that. But like the story of Billy Joel and Joel Billy, right? Husband and wife, and they just find random like dots on their neck. And meanwhile, they've never been to the doctors before. So it could be some random disease that they don't know. But like, hey, their first instinct was they were abducted and probed because they're just the finest specimens of all of humanity, of course. Um,
Wait,
no, stop.
2023, Japan. There have been UFO sightings in rural
Oh,
Japan.
I
Oh,
saw
that's
that actually
crazy.
recently. Yeah, those ones are actually kind of scary though. Those ones are actually kind of scary. Maybe it's because Japanese people know how to tell a story really well. But there's a I feel like as the world progresses into the digital age, we're gonna get more and more
Oh,
like
we are.
people. Yeah, people are, like, want to create some kind of thing that makes them unique. It's
And
it's loneliness again, right? It's these random bumpkin dudes, right? And then
Everything
like
comes back to loneliness.
listen, you watch those things and you're just like, there's a common factor here. These guys don't have friends, and then what do? They go onto Facebook groups and they're like, oh my god, you saw the aliens too, and then like I'm not trying to knock these people, but like
We hate lonely
the
people here.
lengths. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
If
moral
you're
of the
lonely,
story.
read One
Get out of
Piece.
here.
Like
No, don't even read
if you,
One Piece. You don't even deserve that.
oh no, oh
Well, I
no.
mean, I want to make the argument. If somebody's lonely, they'll never
Uh huh.
even know what Luffy's talking about when he talks about Nakama, right?
Oh no. Yeah,
Like, what's the point?
but like they'll want to make friends, right? Like that's the thing.
No,
They'll
no,
go
no,
out of the
no.
way to like
Hush, hush.
genuinely it because the reason why they won't make up stories is because they'll see Usopp and hate him.
Oh god, I hate Usopp. Usopp's
I
like the
know
worst character.
I know you do, and I have rebuttal, but I know why you don't. But like I think that's like a whole story aspect where it's like if you are Usopp and you continue to be Usopp, like yeah, sure, you can convince the Three Stooges children carrot, onion, and celery in your village, but as you expand out, it's not going to be as you're not going to be received well, right? Like at a certain point, you're going to lose everything, and but the problem is, I think our world creates a bunch of Usopps. That's how I see it. And if you guys don't know what that reference is, God bless you because that means you're not in One Piece, the community, and you
Yeah,
came onto our channel from a completely different place.
you're living in the good timeline.
Yeah, yeah, where you don't sit there and analyze and debate like four panels of black and white drawings from some random Japanese man for like over 4 hours with the other guy on the opposite side of the screen because me and you are also sort of lonely in this type of way, except we're both married,
Everyone is
so
lonely.
yeah,
There's
everyone's
not a
lonely.
singular person out there. And speaking of loneliness, you know who
Yeah.
wasn't lonely this weekend?
I thought you meant like the weekend, but then I was like, no, he said this weekend.
Or like
Okay,
last
who?
weekend, I guess is a better way to put it.
Okay,
Have you
who
seen the
was it?
viral, like, I call it viral. Have you seen the TikTok video of those kids like walking into people's homes?
Walking up to people's homes?
Into people's homes.
Like burglary?
I mean, essentially, I mean, there's like a TikTok trend of like teenagers in London like actually just walking into somebody's home, like opening the door, just like walking in, making themselves at home, jumping on their couches, and then just leaving.
No, what in this not this economy, but this state of the world where it's like everybody's strapped and everyone's just
It's
throwing.
it's London though.
Yeah, but London's scarier because
Yeah,
they
London
have
is scarier.
well, like scarier in the sense of like yeah, guns are scarier, but like over there, it's like if you're in someone's home, that's one step closer to the boiling water and acid, right? Like you're going to where they store that, and that
Yeah.
shit is crazy. All I'm gonna say, right? Like
TikTok
that's
trends are
wild.
going too far. Kids will do anything for clout nowadays. It's disgusting. So
Yeah,
like these kids are capitalizing on like all of this,
yeah.
which I don't even know their names, which is a good thing too, right? Like nobody's really giving them the attention necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But like their latest prank, if you want to call it that, they just recently walked into a library and started tearing books apart in front of librarians. And the thing is, like, the police have apprehended them multiple times, but because they're teenagers and I don't know how the laws are over in the UK, like they just let them go. They don't do anything.
What?
Yeah, no. And then I don't know why it's always the UK. There's another one of like these kids walking into a McDonald's and just jumping around and playing with everything in there and just leaving. It's like, bro, stop. And then another case, the police show up. They said, "Oh yeah, they're kids though. We can't do anything. We have to let them go." I'm like, "There's no effing way." I feel like the lack of punishment, like real punishment for kids that do dumb shit like this, it's creating a bunch of little monsters. We need to stop them early. Like throw these kids in
I
juvie, bro.
knew.
Like what
I
is going on? Not even juvie. Like do something else. Put them like
I like
10 days in prison. You know, keep it
like
tame because they're kids. But
you shouldn't physically disciplining. I get it. It's like people have a whole thing about gentle parenting and they don't understand that it's not gentle parenting doesn't mean like not yell, not whatever. It's like explain things correctly, right? Like that's kind
yeah,
of what it is. And like I get like yes, this survivor bias, we've coped with our issues. I would imagine both of us have been beaten a little bit here and there given immigrant parents type of things, and like, hey, we turned out okay, but that's not a proper like that's not a proper synthesis. Just because you're okay and just because like we are okay in the moment doesn't mean that that's the best way to parent, right? But like on the flip side of that, it's like I like back when we grew up, it's like you fuck around, you find out. Like I feel like that has been lost here, where it's like if these kids post this thing on the internet and the guy, like the person reacting to a prank, for example, um there's a crazy situation where this dude, a prankster, a YouTube prankster, got shot because the guy he pranked had a gun and he was just wrong day, wrong time, wrong thing. And some of these pranks, like that guy's pranks, I think we're kind of tame in the grand scheme of things, but some of these pranks are like, yo,
They're wild.
if this
I
isn't
saw
staged,
one.
like I would hurt you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if this ever happened to me and like you did that, like I don't like camera or not, like characters, I do it because
There
that's
was
just wrong.
there
Like
was a
it's just
prank that this guy did to his quote friend or neighbor, where he broke into his house with weapons and threatened to tie him up, and the homeowner ended up shooting him. And then it was like it turned out to be a prank at the end of the day, but it's like, bro, that prank is
yeah,
too far, bro. What the hell? Like, I don't even feel
yeah,
bad for them. It's like, how do you not know that if you do something like that, there's gonna be some repercussion? Like, even if the
yeah.
prank works out totally fine, the cops are gonna come. Like, what is the benefit at the end of the day? You're gonna get like 10 likes on TikTok.
Loneliness, like they're doing it for because it's like people see it on the internet and they're like, that's not something that they would do, but that's something that's like so visceral that
Yeah.
even if it's a bad situation, you get the serotonin boost of like the social media
Oh
buzz. And
yeah.
it's like, and like I saw something recently, I don't even know if this is staged. Like at this point you don't know, like I wish that all of them were staged because it would almost be like it'd be so dumb that it's okay because the reality would be even dumber. But like I saw one where like the people like scare people on the streets. Oh, there's one that pisses me off right now, and I don't know why like I'm so surprised that the comments aren't more brutal. But like a tamer version is like, have you seen the one where the guy disguises like a tree in like broad daylight, and then like he's like on the sidewalk, and then like people walk by and he like pops out, he's like, ah, and then the people are like, oh shit, and then it's like it's broad daylight though, you know what I mean? It's like a guy in a
Yeah.
tree. It's like whatever. This other guy, he's like at nighttime, he was wearing like a bunny suit or whatever, and he just is around the corner and he pops out, and it's like this daughter and the dad, right? And what happens is it's I don't know if it's staged or not, but they staged it as a counter prank. So what happens is the guy in the bunny suit scares them. The old dad fakes a heart. I'm prefacing it, but he fakes a heart attack, and he acts like he needs. And they call 911. They get the ambulance, right? And then the guy gets whisked away, and then the guy in the suit is just like devastated, right? Then the girl like calls them later to inform them that the dad passes away, and then the guy is just like fuck, like oh my god, right? And then like comments are like, like in reality this could happen, like you're in like at
So it was
nighttime
like
in the
so it was fake.
so the guy pranking apparently the guy pranking the like scaring them wasn't they were that part wasn't like staged, right? But the girl was in on it because she was accomplices with the guy, like the camera guy, the guy that like is on the other end like manufacturing these videos, but the guy actually doing it apparently had no clue. And so he scares this guy, these people. They
Gotcha.
scare him back by making him think he killed somebody. And then the comment section's like, honestly, the guy pranking them, like that's a real life scenario. People can actually be scared to death, especially if you're doing it in the middle of the night in the like in a city in the like darkness, right? It's like, yeah, like they both sides went way too far in my opinion, but like at the end of the day, like that is the reality of the pranking thing. And the one thing that actually is going viral right now that's pissing me off, like these guys are blowing up, is like these dudes will dress up as like horror characters, like they'll dress up with a mask or whatever. I think I sent you
Yeah.
like one or two, and like they'll show up on like a tricycle, and then like they'll be like in at night and just like, or like they'll hide in an elevator and they'll like their back will be turned, they look normal, and then when the elevator closes they turn around and they're like this monster person, right? And the thing is, like, they are doing it, and I like, you could spin this as like a misogynist, like anti like women equality thing, but like they're doing it to like women who are alone at night in like parking garages, in like places where actual crimes happen, and it's just two dudes, and they're not just like appearing, no, they're actually chasing after these women.
Yeah,
These
they
women
chase
have
them.
to run, and it's like, maybe it's staged, maybe they're paying these people, but the
But
amount of times that it happens, and it's like the like maybe these women are the best actors. Like, some of them scream, some of them run, some of them fall, and it's like, yo, if any one of these is real at all, that is fucked. That is so insanely
even if it's
fucked.
fake, it's still fucked, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
like,
giving like other guys the impression that, oh yeah, we can do this.
yeah,
we
it's
we
like,
we can just chase women in the middle of the night and call it a day.
and then they get millions of views on whatever, and it's like, then that reinforces this behavior, like you're saying. So then some dumb kid is gonna see that, like, where if this is staged, right, and these guys, these adults who are dressing up in a mask with crowbars, slamming a car, like garage basement, whatever, chasing women around, this like impressionable 12-year-old is gonna look at that like, hey, I could do that, I'm gonna go do that to my friends, and then not realize it's fake. You know what I mean? It's like, even that, perpetuating that, it's just like, it's so crazy
See,
that
this ties
we
back
enforce that.
to a couple episodes ago where I said that if we could, we would just Thanos snap them all out of existence, right?
Thanos did it random though.
But okay, but not random. You pick. I'd pick. Like I think I put it best when I said selective genocide, right?
Throwback to like
Painless.
episode 6 or something like that.
Painless, a single snap, gone in an instant.
That was, I think that was the first time, by the way, when I implemented the I'm gonna hit record randomly and you don't know when I do. And like, I didn't think you were gonna say that, but you did. And then I was like, oh no, we started it, but then it was fine. Yeah,
Would you get rid of all these pranksters if you could?
I think pranking is fine. I think I've seen a lot
It
of
depends on the
wholesome
prank.
pranks.
Okay,
Yeah.
how about these pranksters in specifically, like people who only do these pranks?
Yeah, that's like, I don't know.
You
I feel
do
like
it,
there has
right?
to be like, so for example, like there like this random weird prank was, and this happened in the pandemic. For some reason, people are still doing it in the United States, even though it's considered a bioterror war crime, where they go into grocery stores and then they open up ice cream and they lick it and then they put it back, and that can still be charged as a war crime, or whatever,
Yeah.
bioterrorism thing. Even now, someone did that and they're like, it's a prank, and it's like,
And then they got arrested.
yeah, they charge, there's like a bounty for them and all that stuff, and it's like, that's like stupid, right? Like, that's just like, I don't know, like, when it comes to these pranks, I feel like we need to have repercussions for these pranks, right? Like for example, I can't just walk up to you and just throw a punch, right? Like, if I throw a punch at you, even if it doesn't hit, I could go to jail. You could charge me, because that is, what is it? It's battery, right? Like, where if you are in fear of being harmed or threatened, even if a car is like, for example, if a car is like driving at you and they have no right of way, they're on the wrong side of the road, and they don't hit you, you can still charge them because they put you in a place of fear, a battery with a deadly weapon, and the vehicle being the deadly weapon, right? I feel like that's most of these pranks that are like ridiculous. It's like they there should be like what the ACLA or ACLU or whatever. They need to go after these dudes, some of them,
They're
and like figure it
menaces.
out.
They're harming
Yeah,
the future generations.
it's like, and the thing that I was gonna cycle this too is like public discourse, like how people act in public, right? Like, you fuck around, you find out, right? And like the it's gone too far in some instances where it's like you get crazy stories and people just get blasted and shit like that, where it's like they just have no like social tolerance, right? Like if someone just walks up to you, that's a threat, right? Apparently, and then like you can pull out your gun and that person justifies it like that, but that's not how society should work. But on the flip side, it's like people are way too comfortable with like how they act with people in public. It's like, bro, like I could be the most social person if you run up to me with a camera and a mic and like
Well, we're not
you
friends at that point. No.
like and you bombard me. It's like I'm what do you what kind of response do you think you're gonna get, right? Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be open to that, right? Be respectful,
There
be
was
like be a person. Right? Don't treat me like content. Like that's crazy.
this YouTube video of like this guy going around the beach pranking people. Or
Yeah.
I use the word prank loosely. The guy's like harassing people who are just enjoying their day at the beach,
Yeah.
and then he finally gets like pushback. Like
Mhm.
some guy like hits like, hey, like you're harassing everybody, like you're kind of a dick. And then the guy keeps on egging him on, like the prankster keeps on egging him on until the point where the guy he snatches his camera and microphone and he tosses that shit in the ocean.
Yeah.
And then the prankster calls the police and he's like, hey, this guy like destroyed my property. Like, I can't believe you did this. But a lot of people at the beach who were harassed by this guy came together like, no, like this guy's an asshole. Like this
Yeah.
guy's just harassing random people. And then it got to the point where the police literally looked at him and was like, yeah, you do this like you're harassing these innocent people. Like we're not gonna help you in this situation. Which I'm glad. I was afraid that the guy who threw the shit in the ocean would like get charged, but he didn't.
But
And I was like, oh,
but
that's a fat W for the police officers.
but that's like an important thing, which is why these people feel so empowered by having that camera on, because once you get supporters, you get 100,000, 200,000 people who subscribe or follow for this content, and they have the rapport of how you do your content and it's harmless or whatever. But the person on the receiving end, if it's not staged, doesn't have that, right? So in a situation like that, it's like, how is that guy supposed to know what the situation is? That's one part of it. But then the other part of it is like the you it's so disingenuous for the person on the other end of the camera, because yeah, like, a lot of people are Karens, a lot of people are whatever, male Karens, whatever we call them, like Kevs or Jakes or whatever the name is, right?
The
There is that,
Bradster. That's a cool name though.
whatever, right? Like there is that version of that. But on the other side of it's like if someone throws a camera in your face and you respond incorrectly, you could get canceled, doxxed. Your life could be ruined. I don't know if we talked about that in a previous thing, the Mean Girls stuff, right? I don't know if we talked about that on a podcast, but like the that whole like pressure is there, where it's like the guy who throws out the thing, or like let's say someone walked up to you with a camera and mic and he just starts shouting at you, right? And the person's reaction is to punch that person, right? Because they were just fearful, they were whatever. You don't know what their perspective is, you don't know who they are, what they are, and you ran up to them in a sort of aggressive way. You could get hit for that. Back in my day, you don't do that, right? But apparently now you can with a cam and mic, and that's okay. And then if you did that, because it's videotaped, now the internet will guillotine you, execute you. Like, oh my god, this guy's so aggressive. Oh my god, he probably does this at home with his children. That kind of like crazy thing. And it's like that guy has no place to defend himself either, because he's already character assassinated. And it's like so unfair of how that like premise of all that starts. And then on top of that, me and you are YouTubers, and these guys that are doing it are YouTubers. And so it's like,
And now we gotta follow in their footsteps, Par. When's the next? Hey, are you free Saturday? We can go chase some women down a stairway. What do you think?
the 50-50 pranks show.
The 50-50 pranksters.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
that's cool. I wear like a ghost face mask. You can wear something. I got like 10 ghost face masks.
We like tie people up and we give them a 50-50 option, and it's like,
Yeah.
haha, it's
Oh,
a prank.
We
It's
should
like,
get innocent people that have
Yeah.
like a little kid with them, tie them both up to a chair,
No.
blindfold them, and then say, hey, like you either have to kill yourself or kill your kid. And then when they pull the trigger, it's like confetti, and it's gonna be so funny, right?
yeah. Wait,
No,
you
that'd
know
be
what?
hilarious.
Like, I don't know
Goated.
if this is staged,
Good
but like
content.
I'm pretty sure this wasn't staged, where they actually did that, where like
Oh
they
yeah,
kidnapped-
the Sam Hyde one. Yeah, that's an old one.
I don't know. No, this one was recent. It was like
Oh.
college students. Yeah, like these friends, they kidnapped two of them. Like they were just hanging out. Both of them got kidnapped. One of them was in on it, and so they like essentially had them blindfolded, bags over the head, and then they were like, with the one that was unaware, they were like, do this or else we're gonna kill your
Wait,
friend.
was it on a rooftop?
I don't remember if it's a rooftop, but it was like in a dark like environment. Maybe it was like I remember a ledge being there, so I don't know if it
Yeah,
was like a
because I
bridge
think
or
I think
whatever.
I think that is the Sam Hyde one because that's a really popular one.
Oh, it might be. It
People
might
still
be.
reference it to this day.
I don't by old. I don't know if you mean like 50s because we talked about
Oh no,
50s,
not
or
old.
you
Like
mean
maybe
like
like I think 4 or 5 years ago.
oh that yeah, it's probably that where yeah, essentially the guy, maybe you know it better, but like the guy didn't listen or he didn't fall, and then they acted like they killed the friend, and then the friend was just like traumatized by it. And
Yeah,
again, maybe he's an Oscar winning like 10-time grant. I don't even know what these awards are for, but
he
like
was acting in this scenario, or he was quote acting. I don't know if he
yeah,
was
yeah,
defending his friend or not, but
but and that's the kind of pressure you're in, right? Because it's like your friend did this prank, and it's like if you don't go along with it, then you're screwed. But if he actually suffered that, bro, that's like I don't even know. Like I might, like that's just whoo. I don't know how that exists. I don't know how like you have like a functioning brain. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what went wrong
we
in.
oh man, I hate that this prank has been done before. What are we gonna do now? I have an idea. Let's up the ante. Let's kidnap an entire family.
I feel like I've seen that too,
No,
and I
what
don't
about
know
the
if that's
bloodline?
staged.
Bloodline par.
Bloodline.
All the Samoans, gather them up, and then just do this on a Mr. Beast scale. Nobody's done that before.
The worst part of it is like the only thing that separates this from like a crime, like in the sense of like you can sit back and like, oh, it was just a prank, is like the part where they're not asking for money or a ransom, right? Like all you have to do is add money in a ransom transfer, and then you have a full-blown criminal, right? Like that's what all of these pranksters are. They're basically reenacting crimes minus like something that would make it like universally chargeable. You know what I mean? Like there's no, you can't sit back and be like, oh yeah, like I made them give me $5,000. It was a prank though. You can't do that,
Hey, you don't
like
know yet. Maybe we can be the first.
maybe we can be the first. We become the Robin Hood
The
pranksters.
50-50 robbers.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There we go. That's a good
Guys, we have a
name.
career change. Career change. We'll fulfill the reputation of
We
what
can just
YouTubers
rob
are.
people, and then we could keep the money, spend it, but when they find out who we are, we could just say it was a prank and we were planning to give it back to them all along.
I don't know why my brain went to like this proposal where it's like in some cultures and other countries, apparently kidnapping your spouse, like your fiance, is a custom. Maybe I'm making that up or that's a rumor, but this guy,
Cool
and I think this
custom.
is in the States, like literally kidnapped his wife like in like a violent, like it was like a terrifying way, and then brought her to like a beachside place, and then was like on his knee, and then took the thing off, and she's like in tears, and then the tears shift to like tears because she's being proposed to, and everyone's like, what? Like just what? And like I'm sitting there like,
Hey, W. Bradster.
is this a prank? Is this a proposal? Like, does she know? Like, because I always sit back, I'm like, if you're getting proposed to, like whatever, how crazy the proposal is, like, and if the person accepts it, that just means that they really know each other. Like I'm so optimistic about that, where it's like, oh no, it's not like they're gonna get divorced in the next year or the next month, like what 50% of the United States. It's no, they actually really love each other, which is why she said yes, because it's not that she was in fear of being kidnapped just seconds before being revealed that it was actually her future husband with a like shoddy ring or whatever on a beachside that she probably didn't want to be because she didn't get her nails done, so the pictures are all scuffed too as well, and she's crying, didn't get her makeup done and all that jazz, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe she just really loves him. That's at the end of
That's
the
what we have to
day.
go with.
Yeah, like I want to be that optimistic, but it's like, you know it's wild, and we actually landed on a cool segue. It's crazy how sometimes these episodes write themselves. Like we don't come up with these topics or thematics, but if you go back to like our previous episodes, they're always like loop around or whole like the whole way through it's about like stupidity, murder, like something
Genocide.
random. Yeah, something like that. Like what would we do? Animals, right? Like animal stories. This one's loneliness. And in this I mentioned the stat, right? The United States is 50% divorce rate. You remember, right? We discussed this a little bit. People might be surprised. I'm gonna give the listeners a chance. Try to guess where is the United States on that list on divorce rates globally? Is there, if you were to put a number to it, what would be the highest divorce rate? Is the United States the highest divorce rate? Sounds like it, feels like, especially if you are in the United States. Um, and if not, what country is the highest? What country is the lowest? Try to come up with that right now. Don't Google it. Don't cheat. I know you guys have the benefit of being at home listening at night, and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna act like a smartass and Google it. No, no, stop that. Stop it. You're not that smart. I know you're smart. Whatever. Okay. Give you guys a second. Sai, do you remember what the number one country was and what the divorce rate was?
It was a South American country, wasn't it?
Not South American, but one that not colonized, but like had a lot of colonies in South
Yeah,
America.
I remember it was something ridiculous like 97.
Yep, 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 yep,
I
yep.
remember the number.
97% divorce rate. Portugal.
Hey,
Like,
shout out the boys at Portugal.
when like I forgot, I think I sent a video to you, and my favorite part of the comments there was at weddings they don't say like yay long, like they're like see you at the next one, see you in a few months, like at the same way. Like I'm like dying because like I don't even know I need. If you guys are from Portugal, please tell me, because apparently this, like I saw multiple sources. Maybe I'll double check it. Maybe I'll double check it live here. Portugal divorce rate. Portugal divorce rate, right? Let's see. 92% when you see on Google. Spain with a divorce rate of 86%. This is by Sicilian
Oh, I looked it
News.
up.
Statista.
Apparently one of the reasons why it's so high is
Mm-hmm.
because marriages in Portugal are very low. So the
Oh.
stats are a little bit skewed. They don't have the same pool as America.
But like even if they're low, 97, like skewed is one thing, right? But like you'd almost imagine that okay, if the marriage rates are low, it's either because they're choosing their partners very carefully, or there's a very large what like dating culture there, right? Like where it's like or polyamory kind of culture kind of thing, where it's like they don't necessarily believe in a single mate kind of thing. I don't know Portugal. Hey, let me know, guys, what side of it is. But regardless of what it is, because like marriage is about that decision, right? So it's like 97% of them are overturned, regardless if it's a low number or high number. That's still ridiculous, is it not?
It's no, it's pretty crazy.
It's like
92?
it Google this Sicyon thing. Let me see Statista. Surely a website named after stats can't be that bad, right? Let's see. Oh, accept only necessary cookies. 91.5%. So per 100 marriages, 91 of them and a half are end in divorce.
That's kind of crazy.
Like
Yeah, no
like
matter how you
yeah,
spin it, that's kind of nuts.
it's kind of wild. Like I need to know
We
like
need to hand out a trophy to them.
yeah, like that sounds like a prank, right? Like that sounds like a like marriage prank. Like, haha,
Marriage
this is
prank
a
gone
prank.
wrong.
I don't know. Like I felt like the U.S. was bad, but then you get like let me read these, right? It's Portugal, Spain, Luxembourg, Italy. Oh, it's all of Europe: Sweden, Finland, Netherlands, Norway. Am I just reading the EU? Like what is happening here? France, for some reason, warrants four asterisks here. Denmark, Belgium, Lithuania, Latvia. Wait, this is literally just Switzerland, Estonia, the United Kingdom, Bulgaria, Greece. We haven't left Europe yet. Germany until 1990, former territory of the FRG. Okay, apparently we needed that. Poland, Austria, Slovakia. No, wait, I have to. Oh, divorce. Okay, this is divorce rates in Europe. Okay, that's why. I was like,
Oh,
wait,
all
no,
right,
this.
cool.
I was like, wait, what? What is happening here? Global divorce rates. Let me see that. Global divorce rates, and we got to keep the factors still with Statista. Statista. That's going to be the one. Watch, we're going to get comments like, well, actually, Statista is not a great statistic website. And I'm like, come on, guys. Its name is Statista. Okay, countries with the lowest divorce rates. Wait, I don't want that. I want the highest. Hello? Wait, they're like they have recommended lists, and it's like marriage rates worldwide, this, and that, and then it's just the highest divorce rates in Europe only. Like I can't find the one for global. That's kind of wild that I can't find it. Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy that it's so hard to create relationships apparently for
Yeah, the
people.
guys over there. Would you consider that a case of loneliness, that high divorce rate, or anti-loneliness?
It I think I think we talked about this sometimes. Like I think a lot of things are a spectrum where you go so far on one end you end up going back to the middle, where it's like dating culture is a great example of that. I think that the phrase of like I'm surrounded by so many people but I feel so lonely, right? Like I think like that applies into like the dating culture where you have many intimate relationships, so to say, but like maybe they're surface level, maybe the numbers there, but it's not like what you want or what comes out of it. And it ends up being that, yeah, you have lots of friends and lots of partners or whatever, but you end up feeling just as lonely as someone who had no partners or whatever. And in the Portugal situation, maybe it's something like, yeah, dating culture is super high, and then when they commit to a relationship, they're not like understanding of themselves, you know what I mean? And they end up feeling lonely, right? I feel
Yeah,
like that's a whole thing about that. At the end of the day, it's about understanding yourself a little bit and being like rooted and confident where you don't need like validation outside of it, which is ironic given like what social media is about and what it does. But damn.
did you see
Damn.
that TikTok is being banned in like one state?
I did. I did. I don't know what state though. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
what
need to
that
look more into
means.
that. It's actually like a state in the U.S. and like I think it's something along the lines if TikTok has to find an impossible way of making it not available in one certain state, which just can't really happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of wild. It's
I
like the
know that
wildest
for
news I heard of like recently.
I know that government employees cannot have TikTok, but as far as TikTok ban Montana. Man, who's in
Mm.
Montana? No offense if you're from Montana, but like if you're not Hannah, you're not Montana. You know what I mean? Like, but uh yeah, TikTok's one of those interesting things because it causes an issue, but it also solves it. I feel like TikTok does a better job than other platforms that are like apparently on a pedestal domestically, which we covered previously. Facebook doesn't do any better of a job in terms of connecting people and creating real. In if anything, in terms of catfishing, you'll be catfished much easier on Facebook than you would be on TikTok, right? Like I feel like that's just. I don't know. Like I feel like TikTok's the place where you discover and uncover catfish like identities, and whereas Facebook is where those
They run
catfish.
rampant.
Yeah. It's a catfish farm over there, Like, do you still use Facebook?
No, not really. I think I
No.
used it once, and I just do it for mobile games, and that's it.
Mobile
Yeah, I
games.
play a lot of mobile
Ooh.
games. Maybe not a lot. I think that's the bad way to word it. But
Yeah, like
I've been
like
playing
not
mobile games for like I think 6 years now.
like Farmville, like
No, not like
Chefville.
Farmville. I play like Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I've been with them for like 6 years at this point.
Back when I was in college, I did a bunch of I didn't need to go this ham, but I did a lot of case analysis, like studies for like
Yeah.
these large things. Facebook makes like an absurd amount of money from those games. Like they make most of their money from those games. Like I'm like,
Oh yeah,
what?
I'm not surprised.
And the demographic is just man, I might be able to pull up my presentation, but like I remember one of the presentations was breaking down the demographic, and the largest demographic there was women, like
Yeah,
middle-aged women who just like married or not, they were the ones who were playing these
that sounds about
games.
right.
And I'm like, I was looking into Candy Crush. I think I remember I told you I did like even outside of college I did had this whole like thing about video games, how video games are gonna be the future. We use them for job hiring processes now. A lot of companies do that, especially in the consulting world. Video games is pretty big there. But Candy Crush, like I was analyzing them. I forgot what's their main what's their the company that owns Candy Crush.
Tencent,
No, not Tencent. World of Warcraft.
Blizzard.
Blizzard is I think they bought Candy Crush. Let me double check that. Candy Crush owner. Um
Yeah, just for clarification though, to everybody watching, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle is not a Facebook game. When I use Facebook for it, it's mainly for the Facebook group, and that's it.
face like old friends.
No, not old friends, like literally a Facebook group.
Blizzard does own Candy Crush. They bought it. That was why.
Nice.
Oh yeah. You know
That's a
what?
big buy.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's? Oh my God. There's so many. So, oh wait, hold on. I just got randomly excited because these presentations. Maybe I have a whole thing. So I future sighted a few things. A few. So Activision, Blizzard. You know how like a recent thing that happened. They in the UK they got approved for buying, or Microsoft was approved to buy Activision or something like that, or I forget what it was. Acquisition. What was it? What was it?
They lost the acquisition.
It wasn't they? Did they actually lose it? Or was I thought in the UK they were allowed? Or was it
No.
China? China approves Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard.
Yes, but the UK has not.
Okay, okay.
The UK
China's kind of
actually turned
crazy.
it down, and
China's wild
Microsoft
for
is
that,
trying to
though.
appeal it.
Wait, why would China do? China's wild for doing that because Tencent would. Why would Tencent allow that? But anyways, um, there was a few mergers that ended up happening that in those case studies, I was like, hey, if these crossed paths, this would be insane. And then they ended up happening. But one of them was actually I predicted there's a company called WeWork, that was like it's basically a work share facility kind of thing where it's like, if you're a entrepreneur or you're a startup much like ourselves, right, and we needed an office space because we don't have space in our own household or something like that, and we live in New York or something like in a metropolitan area, then you renting a place is expensive. So what they did is they got a building, like that's kind of how they started. And their CEO was like the most charismatic. Like I don't know him personally. It's not really like you can't really like his resume demonstrate. He's literally like the Buggy. Like he's Buggy. Like he the amount of like deals that he cut for this thing, and it was based on ironically around like bringing community buildings, making entrepreneurs less lonely so that they have like a connection with other entrepreneurs because they put them in this multi-billion dollar building. For example, they bought out the Macy's building, I believe, in Manhattan. I think it's Macy's. I forget. It's been a while. And they bought it out, part of it. They rented out some of it, but it was for their thing. And I analyzed the CEO, and I said like, if he doesn't give up power, if he doesn't transfer it over to a proper CEO, or if he continues, then this company is gonna go down. And then that company got obliterated, like actually insanely obliterated, because they had billions and billions of dollars of funding. Their biggest funder was somehow this guy rizzed up SoftBank, their CEO or whatever. And so that SoftBank CEO unilaterally gave this guy like 14, 15 billions of dollars. And like they've never invested like this unilaterally to this kind of entity. The only thing that makes sense is this guy was like lonely as like as all hell, and he got rizzed the fuck up because that's what the kind of the CEO was. He was like a party animal, and he just threw a bunch of parties and just rizzed up a bunch of rich people in like a professional way because they also talked about him like very highly, and and then the fallout came from that thing, and I was sitting there like looking at my presentation. I was like, huh, huh, I got an I didn't get an A+ on this, like what the fuck. And I didn't talk to the teacher, but um I just got randomly excited by
Watching
that
the company
theory.
fall. Are they still around?
Yeah, we were they got what's it called, not bailed out, but essentially bailed out kind of thing.
Yeah.
They got re
Refinanced.
essentially they sold off parts, and then they sold off the company, and it's under new management where the guy didn't want to sell it at first, and so like basically got cooed. He basically got coup d'etat in his own thing. And like the other part of it, all the board were all his like family and friends like at the time, and so he fucked over all of them. And they like he all he literally within a month the whole company came crumbling down. And my presentation was basically like, if he holds on just a little too long, everything will come crumbling down. And it was within like a month's time, and I'm like, no shot. He like single-handedly fucked over this thing. I forget what the guy's name was, but you can look it up. It's literally like, if you read an article about it, guys, like, I just know I have a presentation that I can send your way that's just like eerily crazy that this
It's like
that,
Mayan text.
yeah. Like, ah, man. Adam Newman. Oh, that's the guy. He even looks like it. Israeli billionaire businessman. I don't know how he's doing now, but like the first thing you Google, the career rise, fall, and return. So apparently he's doing fine now.
He's chilling. He's chilling.
But the thing is, it's like with the like literally, this man just has to have the riz. Like I don't know how else to explain it. You look at his story, it's like, nah, bro. He was like, he was convincing people to like they start out like business, right? Like you start your entrepreneurship thing, and you rent out like the small space for a cheap thing in Manhattan, you get the thing. But then it expanded to, hey, we're gonna rework hotels and apartments, and they did. And then also he was just gonna his plan, and he convinced like I think even lawmakers to completely restructure the public school system. And so he developed his own like public school curriculum for daycare, like 0 to like 9 or some shit like that, like Elon Musk like doing to his own kids kind of thing. But like he convinced like all of his corporate like investors and people that this is a thing, and they invested in it. And it honestly kind of sound cool. He rizzed me up a little bit with that too, honestly. But like oh man, I wish, man.
I can't
and
wait
this
for the
guy
Netflix
was
show about him.
there. I think there already is, honestly. If there's not like a Vice thing, that there's definitely lots of things about it. But this is another example of a guy weaponizing like lack of loneliness, or not lack of loneliness, like the prospects of loneliness, right? Like the same reason me and you, like, we've been talking for like a year now, right? We've been doing this thing. It's just like it's like a social thing, you know?
We
It's so
can
much
change
easier.
the name of the podcast to the Lonely Boys.
The Lonely Lobotomy Boys.
Yeah,
I want to throw in
LOB.
lobotomy in there. I love the lobotomy thing.
Lobotomy is such a cool topic.
Yeah, I feel like that's like, huh? Let's look up lobotomy podcast, right? Like, there's no shot.
There probably is one. I wouldn't be
No.
surprised. Really, no lobotomy podcast.
There's people talking about lobotomy, but like I don't see any like there's episodes about lobotomy, but I have there's no I mean, we already got this name, but like we could, who says we have to have one podcast? You know what I mean? Like we could have a podcast strictly talking about lobotomies.
Wow,
Like,
yeah, no lobotomy podcast. We could be the first.
the Lobo Boys.
The Lobo Boys.
Yo.
No, that's
maybe
good. No. We should go with the Lobo Boys because it could be like the Wolf Boys.
The Wolf? Wait, what's the Wolf Boys?
Lobo.
Lobo. Oh wait, what?
Lobo is a
Lobo?
wolf in Spanish.
Oh, I thought it was loop. Isn't lupus wolf?
Lupus is something else.
No, lupus is wolf. Man, Lobo.
I think lupus is
Lobo.
wolf in a different language.
Lupus meaning or etymology. There we go. Etymology. Let's see. Let us see. I like how like we were talking about all these things, and then we're just like live. We always somehow just like live like business brainstorm. Lupus is the Latin word for wolf. Yeah.
But
And then
Spanish, lobo is wolf.
is it really?
Yeah.
Huh, I took Spanish. I guess we never learned wolf. Huh, it is. Oh, it's the same root.
Los
That's what it
lobos.
is. Yeah, it's the same root. The Wolf Boys. Oh, wait,
And
hold on.
then
I like that.
could be like, I mean, the wolf boy sounds fucking disgusting, but the lobo is cool. I think the word
Wait,
lobo is
why?
cool, and then it could be like lobotomy, short for lobotomy.
Yeah, wait, hold on. But why is the Wolf Boys disgusting?
Why would you ever want to call yourself the wolf boy?
I don't know.
Like
I feel like
it's like a I don't know. I feel like there's
Twilight?
like a cringe. There's some cringe to it, you know.
The Wolf Boys. I mean, like, imagine we get like a now, like we go to like for some reason, they do this with podcast people. They bring them
Yeah.
out to like conferences, and then we get introduced like, here's next up on the panel, the Wolf Boys, and then
Like the crowd goes wild with how with a bunch of howling people in the audience.
Lobo.
No, that's
Lobo,
scary. That's
Lobo.
no. That's so fucking cursed. I when I think
But
of wolf, I immediately think of like not Edward, Jacob from Twilight.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I thought you said you liked Twilight though.
I do, but I never want to be referred to as the wolf.
You know what's funny? This is this is
Like,
actually
like imagine you walk into a public setting and it's like, oh, there's Parvision, the wolf. Like, like I don't know.
we get I Lobo. But the thing is, imagine going like imagine this hypothetically
Yeah.
in a positive timeline. This is a successful podcast,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, people pay us to go to the conferences, which is how those things work, and they actually pay an insane amount because usually it's like the sponsors, corporate stuff, and they fly people out. And our podcast name is the Lobotomy Boys. Isn't that like honestly not great either? Like,
Oh no, it's not good
welcome to
either.
the yeah. I feel like 50-50 is just like a dope. Like we got this. We're gonna conquer hockey it. But like imagine the 50-50 podcast hosted by the Lobotomy. Like that might be better. You know what I mean? Because then it's like it's underneath the surface, and we just like accept it, and it's fine. But like on the front, it's like featuring the 50-50 podcast. You know what I mean?
Featuring
Like
Los Lobos.
yeah, like, and then it's like with their co-hosts Par and Sai, and like and then like deep down like a little bit in the lore, it's like known as the Lobotomy. You know what I mean? Lobotomy
Yeah.
Boys. And it's like maybe that's the route, right? Like I think that's okay. That's chill. I think that's we're cool in there. You know?
I gotta say it right here. Nobody has sent us logos yet. I'm still so upset.
Oh no!
I can't believe it.
Disappointment.
Guys,
I ne-
crayon drawings, please. Anything.
would
Really bad MS Paint. Give us anything for the logo.
the 50-50. I like I forgot who it was that they said like okay, like this animation would be sick. I don't know if this is what they meant, but like a coin spinning, and then like every once in a while it's like your face and then my face, and then it's like it stops in the middle, and then like I mean they didn't say all this, but they said like a coin with our faces on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And then like the coin keeps spinning, but then it stops in the middle, and then from in between the 50-50 shoots out from the side, and that's like our animation. That's kind of
That'd be cool. Maybe
yeah, I
not
like
our
that.
faces though. I feel like every podcaster has like a cartoonish face, like an anime
Yeah,
figured
yeah,
face.
yeah.
We
A
need
caricature.
maybe not
You
a
know, like
logo that represents us, but something like that.
it's like what that one comment on one of your videos said, like the cute guy and the cute guy with the jawline, like and we didn't know the cute one with the smile, like the cute smile. like something like that. One was like smile, one was jaw, and we're like, which one's which?
Yeah,
Like we
who's
don't really.
who?
Yeah, I mean the smile things might be me, but I'm like, damn, I like having a jaw too. Like, come on, I'm not just a smile with a no jaw. Um,
They assumed it all connected.
yeah, like their description, what seemed to be separating us, kind of was just the same description. They just used different words, and I was like, oh, wait, which one? I prefer one of them, but like,
Yeah. I don't know.
oh my god,
It's still a mystery that hits us to this day. They still
yeah.
watch us too. They still watch
Yeah,
us.
they still comment. I noticed. I noticed. I've been watching out to see more of those S comments, but now it's you
It's
know,
tamed.
we yeah, well we've been less tame in the videos, so more people have been more choosing sides. Oh, you know, he's right, that's right, whatever.
Yeah.
So we've been
The
people are
lobotomy
waiting
boys
for
back
the
at it again.
people are waiting for the day me and you have beef, you know, beef stewing up. One day there's like we stop collabing for like 3 weeks. They're like, oh my god.
That would be a
Oh no.
sad day. Just imagine, like, we have such a huge library. We just stop one day.
Stop one day. Yeah. I
The
feel
O and
like
50 podcast.
no, I saw the comment. Someone
The
said
O and O
that.
podcast.
Yeah. There was something I was going to bring up like very quickly and it was going to end like the call because we're closing on the 2 hour mark and we were saying we're going to keep it short. And like last episode was an hour long, but I kind of forgot. There were so many. Oh man. Was it the WeWork thing, like the business thing? No, it wasn't that. Was it YouTube? No, it wasn't that. Maybe it was YouTube. There's something we were talking about, something important, something interesting. No, we brought up the divorce rates. This episode being lonely, interesting. Was it politicians? Was it shows? There's a lot of good animes coming out this year. That's true.
There was a lot of
Uh,
cum on that one girl in Hell's Paradise.
this is the show you recommended to me, and this is how you're advertising it. Great, great, great. Love
No,
to hear it.
have you seen that?
No, I have
It
not.
trended that day, but there's like a girl who has an ability to secrete like bodily fluids,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to the episode yet, but apparently the Twitter for the anime studio and they tweeted out the picture of her secreting the fluids, and they made it like this white, opaque white color all over her body, and it's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's not even like an ecchi show or there's not like any fan service there, but it's like they had to slip in one thing. They're like, okay, since we're not showing like massive cleavage all the time, we got to slip in some cum caked girls, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that is what fan service is, right? Like a piece of
Yeah,
loneliness a lack of like social connection, a little bit. Damn, it's kind of rude with fan service. Damn.
it's kind of funny, just out of
Yeah,
nowhere. I love it.
out of nowhere.
It made me like turn around because I was like, wait, is this like that Chinese censorship back at it again? But no, dude, it's just they decided to make her ability come.
Very interesting, and I don't remember what I was gonna bring up. Maybe I'll remember it after the call. Maybe I'll remember it while I'm talking. But hey, just to top off of what Sai is saying, I hope you guys come again to the 50/50 podcast
There we
and
go.
listen to the series. If you guys haven't seen the previous episodes, definitely check them out. If you guys don't know, if you join Patreon, you get early access to
A
the
week early.
episodes. We yeah, now that Sai's on the steering wheel a little bit more than I am, it definitely going to be holding. I know I dropped the ball, but I gave an explanation, and we're gonna try our best to keep the schedule up there. And yeah, and then I think another thing also to request besides the logo thing is we're gonna start the Discord soon, and I think a primary thing that would be cool to do, and a lot of podcasts do it, but it's a good way to like connect with your audience is like have like submissions, like article submissions, like whatever
We
you
still
guys
have
want
the
to
wheel
send.
thing that we didn't touch on too.
Wheels, was that what I wanted to talk about? Nah, that's not what I was. That's a whole different
We still
discussion.
have the wheels. I tried to bring up the wheels, but I was like, oh no, it didn't pan out. It didn't fit the lonely topic
No,
theme.
hold on, it does.
I mean,
See this.
technically anything can. You know what? We should be the lonely boys. I think we said that a minute ago, but we
Yeah,
should
yeah,
be the
yeah.
lonely boys. Every topic, because if
We
you contort it enough, every topic and any topic can resort back to or come back to loneliness.
Yeah, no, and no, but the thing is, this one isn't even that hard. Like, the thing
Oh
is, I'm
yeah.
known for making connections. So if you guys need help making connections, come to the best place. The
I
guy.
A running thing we should do from now on. Every topic we bring up, we somehow relate it back to loneliness.
All right,
The
I'm
Wheel,
down.
Mariana's Trench, easy. The Kung Fu Masters, easy. Like
Easy.
here, what was another topic? I guess anime. I was gonna bring up anime series.
E-girls, VTubers,
Easy.
Twitch, social media, pranking, crimes, criminals, catfishing, fishing.
Any
Uh,
topic you guys can throw at us, I guarantee it. We can somehow twist the narrative to turn it into loneliness.
yeah,
It all comes
Beyblade,
back. Loneliness.
Beyblade, diseases, the plague, pandemic, all of it.
Loneliness.
The Wheel is like so easy in my opinion. I mean, like there's only like there's an entire meme about it right now. It's like, she texts him, her parents aren't home. What's the first thing you do? You gotta get in your car, your bike, and you go 1,000 miles per hour. By the end of the day, they ain't running, they're wheeling over, bro. King Cobra, wheeling.
The only true emotion that mankind has.
Yeah. Everything, I mean, the wheels brought us closer, and they'll continue to bring us closer. Trying to think. No, yeah, we did talked about the Patreon. Been trying, yeah, Discord article submissions, that kind of thing. Like always, guys, appreciate you guys listening in. Maybe I said what I was gonna talk about, and
Now I'm curious. Now I'm curious to see what topic you had.
Yeah, because I want to talk about it. And usually I'm like, whatever. But I feel like it was so connected to what we were talking about. Not even
Wait, the loneliness connection.
not like the lone. Like obviously, like we said, we can connect everything to it. But it was like something we were talking about, and it was like just next door to it, And it was something I either sent or something that was like really, really like big recently. And I'm like, damn, what was it?
Griffith. Loneliness.
Griffith? No.
Oh, that's
was it
Berserk.
Basketball, sports? Maybe not sports.
I just said that because it's my wallpaper and I'm like looking at it right now.
Makes sense. But yeah, I think this is a good place to leave off, guys.